With everything being so expensive these days, I thought I'd share some cheap but fancy and delicious recipes that are budget friendly for your families. These are all Instant Pot rice recipes, and 2 of them have meat or protein and 2 of them are vegetarian, so that also drives the cost down. So let's get started with the first one. It's a cheesy broccoli and chicken cheese casserole dish. It's so good, so let's get started. First, begin by pressing the saute button on your Instant Pot and letting it heat up. Once the Instant Pot is warm, spray the bottom of your pot with cooking spray or add a little bit of butter or oil. When the oil is hot, add 3 to 4 chicken breasts that have been cut up into about 1-inch pieces. And season this with about a teaspoon of garlic powder, pepper, a little bit of salt or garlic salt, about 1 teaspoon, and about a 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. This stuff is optional, but it just helps to give the dish more flavor, and we like adding layers of flavor to our food rather than just dumping everything in and having it be a little bit more flat. After the chicken has sauteed for a couple minutes on each side to just kind of bake in that flavor into the chicken, deglaze the pot by adding 1.5 cups of chicken broth or vegetable broth, it's your choice, and scrape the bottom of the pot to get all that flavor off and avoid the burn notice. To this, add 1 cup of white rice that has been washed and rinsed. Spread that out over the chicken. If you want to add some onion to this dish, you can add it during the chicken step and saute that all together. Today I'm just using minced onion because I'm lazy. To this, we're adding 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and make sure you don't really stir this in. You kind of want to just plop it onto the top because otherwise it can burn on the bottom. And you can kind of spread it on top like this, just don't mix it into the liquid. Ensure all of the rice is covered in liquid, and now it's ready to cook. Next, place the lid on the Instant Pot, turn the sealing knob to the sealing position, and cook for 3 minutes on high pressure. After the 3-minute cook time, do a quick release and quickly remove the lid and add 3 cups of chopped broccoli to the dish. Mix it up very quickly and place the lid back on the Instant Pot. Put the lid on as quickly as possible and turn the lid to the sealing position. We're not going to pressure cook this, we just want to let this sit for about 10 minutes so the residual heat can cook the broccoli. After about 10 minutes, we can remove the lid. And look how delicious this is. This has carbs, vegetables, and protein. It's so good. Now from here, you can also add cheese directly to the pot, but I prefer to just do a little bit in the pot and then top each individual serving with additional cheese. This next recipe comes from my cookbook, the I Love My Instant Pot Cooking for One book. I love this book so much, but this recipe is a brown butter lemon parmesan rice pilaf. It's almost like a risotto, so it can pass as a main dish. It's so luxurious, but it's also really inexpensive. Now, it's technically not vegetarian since it does use Parmesan cheese, but it's easily vegetarian if you swap that for vegan Parmesan cheese, so I hope you enjoy. To start, press the saute button on your Instant Pot and add 2 tablespoons of butter. We're not going to wait until it heats up, we're just going to add in the butter right now so then it can melt down. To make brown butter, you just cook the butter until you cook the milk solids out. So it's going to take just a couple minutes. You want to stir it constantly if possible to ensure it's not going to burn, just brown, and it's going to add a really delicious nutty flavor to the finished pilaf. You can see that the butter is foaming up right now. These are those milk solids. So underneath you can see that it's starting to brown a little bit. You're going to smell it. It's very fragrant. Oh man, it's amazing. Brown butter just adds another dimension of flavor to any dish, and it's a really easy way to just level something up, super easy. Once it starts smelling nutty, you're going to be tempted to like turn up the heat. If you're doing it on the stove, just keep mixing it because it goes really quick after a certain point. We don't want burned butter, we want browned butter. It's super golden, you can see. Oh, it smells so good. If you've never used brown butter in cookies before, oh my gosh, you're missing out. Okay, we're just gonna go for a lightly browned butter today, so this is perfect. It smells amazing. To this, I'm just gonna add a teaspoon of minced garlic, and then 1 cup of white rice that's been washed, rinsed. So pilaf actually means cooked rice. So we're going to kind of par cook this rice in this amazing butter before it gets pressure cooked, and that is the difference between regular rice and pilaf. Pilaf is cooked before. So yummy. To this, you could also add some minced or chopped onion, but I'm just using the minced dried, freeze-dried onions because it's so much more convenient. Just let this saute for a couple minutes. If you have any brown spots like that, make sure that you deglaze those after in the next step. To this, I'm just going to add a little bit of lemon zest and then the juice from half a lemon. To this, deglaze the pot with 1.5 cups of water or chicken broth or vegetable broth and a couple shakes of some lemon pepper. I'm always using the Redmond Real Salt Organic Lemon Pepper. Just do a couple shakes of that. It has salt and pepper, lemon, garlic, all the good things. Scrape any of the rice off the sides and make sure you scrape the bottom of the pot to ensure nothing burns. Now we're going to turn off the heat, put the lid on the Instant Pot, turn the knob to the sealing position, and this cooks for 3 minutes on high pressure with a 10-minute natural pressure release. Now that the 10-minute natural pressure release is over, remove the lid. And if you see any little lemon seeds in here, you can always just take those out, of course. Now you always want to fluff up rice when you are done making it. Oh, and it smells amazing. And then we're going to top it with just a couple tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. This almost makes it into a risotto and it is so good. All right, and that's it. Enjoy. This next recipe is a vegetarian one because I know a lot of people have asked for a vegetarian recipe. It's kind of a Mexican casserole rice dish. And if you want to add a protein, you can always add ground beef or ground turkey. You can add chunks of chicken, it's up to you. To start our cheesy vegetarian Mexican casserole, we're going to start out with 1 can of strained and rinsed black beans. You do 1 cup of frozen or canned corn. And if you like things a little spicier, you can also add some green chilies or jalapenos, but I'm leaving these out for my family today. 1 cup of rinsed and cleaned white rice. And then on top of that, we're adding 1 14-ounce can of vegetable broth, or if you don't care for it to be vegetarian, you can also use beef or chicken broth, and 1.5 cups of salsa. Make sure you put that on top of the rice so all the rice is submerged. We don't want to stir in any of this salsa, but we want to make sure that the rice is covered. And to this, I'm also adding some dried onion flakes, but you can leave these out or add fresh onion if you like. And then a tablespoon of taco seasoning. I make mine homemade, and you can find that recipe on my website, trytestedentry.com. Add about 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on how spicy you like it. Now you can kind of just pat everything down, and this is all you need for this cheesy vegetarian Mexican casserole. We're going to put on the lid. We're going to put on the lid, turn the knob to sealing, and cook this for 3 minutes on high pressure with a 10-minute natural pressure release. After a 10-minute natural pressure release the rest of the pressure, and then give the mixture a stir. And then you can add about a cup of some cheese into the mixture, or you can top each bag with its own serving of cheese, and you're ready to eat. Enjoy. This last recipe is so good. It's Instant Pot fried rice. Now, I know fried rice doesn't sound like a super fancy dish, but this is packed with protein and flavor, and it's so good. I actually have a very specific way that I like to make my fried rice on the stove. It's a very more traditional way. However, this is easy and it's fast, it's simpler to do, and it's less steps. So we're going to do it in the Instant Pot today, and it will taste almost as good as my very traditional method. So let's get started. Now let's get started on our Instant Pot fried rice by pressing the saute button on your Instant Pot and waiting for it to heat up. To begin, start with 1 tablespoon of butter, and when that's melted, add in 1.5 stalks of chopped green onions, and then we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of some bacon crumbles. If you have raw bacon, you can cut that up and add that first. You'll just omit the butter, and you might need to get rid of some of the grease. Let this saute for just a moment and then kind of move the onions and bacon to the edges and add 1 chicken breast that's been diced into small pieces. We're going to season this with a little bit of seasoned white pepper or just regular salt and pepper, 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic, and just cook this for a couple minutes until the chicken is mostly cooked. Now, if we were making fried rice on the stove, the biggest component of making a really good fried rice is flash frying everything in a super hot wok or pan individually so each of the elements gets nice and fried up. Since we're not doing that with the Instant Pot today, we're just kind of doing a 1 pot, and it's not going to be quite as crispy as regular fried rice, but it will still be delicious. Once the chicken has sauteed for a couple moments, we are going to add 1 cup of washed and rinsed white rice and mix it around. To this, I'm adding 1 cup of chicken broth, vegetable broth, water, and that's it. You'll notice that this ratio is a little less than my other rice recipes. That's because we want the rice to be a little bit drier than normal. There's also going to be liquid coming out of the chicken. Now I just pat everything down to make sure that it's all going to cook evenly. And we'll put the lid on our Instant Pot and cook this for 3 minutes on high pressure with a 10-minute natural pressure release. After a 10-minute natural pressure release, this is what it will look like. Yum. From here, you want to press cancel, and then you want to put it on saute mode, and we're going to start kind of frying it a little bit extra. So fluff it up a little bit, and to this add 1 cup of some frozen vegetable mix, or you can add frozen peas, frozen corn, whatever you want. This is just what I had in the freezer. Mix it up to heat through, and we want to wait until it starts kind of crisping on the bottom, so we want it to get really hot. Meanwhile, cook 2 scrambled eggs separately. I like to do them about 80% of the way and then add them in after. If you don't have a separate cooktop, what you can do is kind of move this over to the side and cook them over in one area. Or another thing you can do is cook the eggs before you get started and then kind of wipe out the pot. Okay, my friends, do you hear that popping sound? That's what we want. It's going to maybe stick a tiny bit on the bottom, but right now as it is, this is kind of like soggy rice. It's not fried rice. So we want to kind of give that fried rice flavor by cooking it a little bit after. We're going to add about a tablespoon of soy sauce. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. And then about a tablespoon of oyster sauce. I know that might sound like a weird ingredient, but it really adds some sweetness. You don't need a lot, just about a tablespoon. If you really don't want oyster sauce, what you can use is some hoisin sauce or some teriyaki sauce. Next, we're going to add some toasted sesame seeds. And literally just let this cook for a couple minutes. We want to get kind of crispy on the bottom, and then we'll mix it through. It's been a couple minutes now, so I'm just going to scrape from the bottom. And like I said, it might be sticking a little bit. That's okay. We want it to get kind of crispy and mix that sauce in. You'll also want to add in a little bit of extra white pepper, salt and pepper if you'd like, but not too much salt because it already has soy sauce in there. Then we'll add in our egg, mix it up, but don't mix too much. We don't want it to get mushy. And then this is the vital ingredient, is sesame oil. You know I love this brand, sesame oil. It's the only one I like. And we'll just do about a tablespoon all throughout. And this is what gives it an amazing flavor. You cannot make fried rice without sesame oil. Okay, mix that through. And there you go. Yum. Amazing fried rice. That is so good. Chicken, bacon, eggs, veggies, delicious. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was really fun cooking with you today. And if you like this video, make sure you watch this one. It's my 4 quick and easy Instant Pot ground beef recipes. They're all showstoppers and everyone has loved them so far. Or you can check out this playlist over here with all of my 4 quick and easy Instant Pot recipe videos. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, bye.